What's good, my fellow gamers? It's FPS Benchmarks. In this video I'll be showcasing my test bench. I had other plans to make an assembly video, but I lost footage somehow on my camera. So I just decided to share my desktop, go over some specs, and show my test bench at the end of the video. Back. So I decided to go with the AM4 platform because prices dropped dramatically over the years. Yes, I could have went with AM5 but decided not to, and in my professional opinion, AM4 is obsolete to AM5. Not just yet. Update Ryzen is coming out with a new 5000 XT series chip for the AM4 socket. So honestly, I think I did make a good decision. So the test bench I decided to buy is the Open Benchtable version 2 from OpenBenchtable.com. No, I am not sponsored. I saw a review by J2Sense and was very impressed. I apologize, I'm not making an assembly video. Please watch J2Sense assembly guide. Link will be in the description. So this test bench is packed with like ton of feature, and what I like about it is its toolless design. It's all toolless. Integrated legs that disassemble and then reassemble back to 100% aluminum. That's what the test bench is made of. It has 4 PCIe standoffs. Um, what I also like about this test bench is it has push pin motherboard standoffs. That means all you have to do is align your motherboard to the push pins, push down firmly, and it locks into place, and you can hold it up, and it has the load capacity of 25 kilograms. Also, it supports many other form factors of motherboards like ATX, micro ATX, etc. Also, here's the PCI standoffs. And like, it's firm. I already put together my test bench, and my GPU is not going nowhere, and that's just using 3 of these PCI standoffs. The power supply, it attaches to one of the integrated legs, and obviously you would want to put the fan facing up, obviously for more airflow. So that's that. It has storage mounting for 2.5 and 3.5 SSDs, but J2Sense got slick and he put a leg controller there. Good idea, J2Sense. Brilliant. I'll probably have to think of something else to utilize that space in the future because like I don't really care about a leg controller. Also, it has holes for power buttons, but I don't need a power button, and you'll realize that in when I showcase my motherboard that I purchased. So, what else am I leaving out? So yeah, oh yeah, it has redesigned brackets for fans or radiator up to 80 mm to 420 mm. But for like the 360 mm and 420 mm radiators, you're probably going to do some adjusting with brackets to get it secure. Um, so that's about everything. So let's move on to the motherboard I purchased. I went with the MSI Meg X570 UNIFY chipset motherboard. Um, Before it was $500, and now it dropped down half in price. So like it's a no-brainer, and it's packed with like tons of features. It has one of the main reasons why I purchased this motherboard is it has a power and a reset switch. Also, it has a debug LED postal code. I could get you that, and an easy debug LED. Wait up, I should just go here for now and show you. Okay, yeah, the debug LED postcode, and an easy debug LED. Now I'm about to get a little bit nerdy and share some knowledge. So this is good for like when you can't boot up your system, and it's gonna show a code. You could Google the code, and it will make it an easy diagnosis to fix. Also, as well with the easy debug LED, it's probably going to indicate what your situation is, why your system is not booting up. Because like um when you boot up your system, it goes through many processes. It checks your CPU, your memory, your GPU, your BIOS settings, and even like your power. So if you have anything wrong and your system ain't booting up, it's going to tell you why. Also, another feature I like about this motherboard is the clear CMOS button. This is the I/O. It has a clear CMOS, so if I mess up in my BIOS settings and my system ain't booting, all I have to do is click that button and my BIOS settings will restore back to default settings, and I can boot up my system or go back to BIOS settings. So I don't have to go back and and you have to take out that battery, or like there's other ways where you can jump certain pins on your motherboard and then it resets the BIOS. But like I said, makes it so easy just to hit that button and boom, BIOS is restored to default settings. Also, it has a flash BIOS button, though I didn't have to use this for my CPU, but in the future I probably will have to, especially when I mentioned Ryzen's coming out with that new chip 5000 XT for AM4 socket. So what this does is you could go to the the motherboard support, download the latest BIOS, put it on a USB, put it in this USB slot right here, and then just flash the BIOS, and boom, now your motherboard is compatible with your CPU, or vice versa. Now your CPU is compatible with your motherboard, because like going back with that LED I was talking about earlier, that situation I was talking about earlier. So like if your system don't boot, and it's gonna tell you it's your CPU, and that's probably why, or like your CPU is bad and you gotta return that. Um, let's go back. So let's go back to the I/O. It has the old style, mouse keyboard connectors. Has several Type A to USB for faster speeds, Type C, obviously Wi-Fi. That is Intel, and I think it's 2.5 gigahertz. It has LAN 2.5 gigabytes. It is Realtek. I would have preferred Intel, but like it doesn't even matter because they have expansion slots you could get for 10 gigabyte LAN if your internet supports them type of speeds. It has, decent like all your connections for your audio and digital. Like it's a really good board, well designed board, but there is a couple flaws to it, what I'm about to get to in a second. So, it supports DDR4 up to 5000 megahertz OC, but please don't think you're going to buy a memory kit. That's 5000 megahertz. Install your RAM, go into your BIOS, enable XMP settings, and like your system is going to boot up. No, it does not work like that. Also, that's a whole new other video, and I don't want to get on that topic right now. My test bench is going to be fully stocked, and that's how I plan it to be for right now. Maybe in the future I'll do a little bit of OCing, But like I said, that's another video. So I'll tell you what memory kit I went with, but please don't think that there's more to it than you actually know. Also, it has three M.2 slots for your NVMe SSD. The only downside, like I said, I was going to mention, is that only this first slot, M.2 slot, is processed by the CPU. The other two M.2 slots is processed by the chipset. I ain't gonna lie, I would like to prefer um maybe a couple processed by the CPU, but I guess that's how the cookie crumbles. And also, you can use all three M.2 slots and nothing will be disabled. Man, I don't want to go on a rant, but plus I don't want to make this video too long, but you got to understand that this is another reason why I got this board, because other manufacturers will be like, yeah, you can use these two M.2 slots, but you can't use this M.2 slot, and and vice versa with the PCI Express slots. Like, yeah, I can use these two PCI Express slots, but one M.2 slot is going to be disabled. Like, manufacturers, why are you making useless features then? It's like pointless. Like, what are you doing? Just putting stuff there to utilize space? Like, put something else in there. You know what I'm saying? So, moving along, I'm done with that rant. I can talk about that for hours. So, it has three PCI Express, 4.0 and 3.0 by 16 and 8 by 8. What 8 by 8 means is you can run dual GPUs, NVIDIA or AMD, but like, if you know about that, you're probably ain't even gonna be watching this video, honestly, to tell you the truth. So that's about it. Also, another downside is if your GPU is a decent size, it is gonna block this and this M.2 slot. So if you are installing several SSDs, then you would have to install this SSD slot first before you put in your GPU, obviously. Um, what else? Oh, obviously it supports the Ryzen 3 and Ryzen 2. And for you gamers who are or builders who likes fans, it has 5 fan headers it supports. 5 fan headers it supports. One, two, three, four, five. It has obviously the CPU fan header, all in one pump header, so you can just use one for your pump. Um, and another good feature why I purchased this board is it has 7 temperature sensors. So what that means is I can run my program Hardware Info 64 and I can get temperatures of all these components, because I'm also going to be like test benching like heat and power draw. You got to keep your components cool. So I think that's everything right now. I think I went over everything. Uh, yeah, I think I. Oh no, I forgot. It has. My bad. I'm just going off the top. It has 4 SSD, 6 GB for SSD. So that's the motherboard. It's highly suggested. Like I said, it was a $500 motherboard when it first released, and now it's half off. So, like I always say in my videos, that's a no-brainer. So the CPU I went with, you probably already know, it's the best AM4 gaming processor right now, the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, and like it, it's overall, I'm not gonna lie, what makes this is the L3 catch. It's 96 megabytes, and for them games that require L3 catch, it's like your frames are gonna increase. It's you're gonna get so much performance increase in like, but I'm not gonna lie to you, like some games don't require L3 catch. Some games require just single core frequency or multi-core frequency. So this is obviously, like I said, not to promote myself, the best gaming processor you could get right now for the money. So the memory I went with is G.SKILL TridentZ RGB. It's like best money can buy right now. And honestly, I don't care about RGB, but like I said, best money can buy. It's DDR4 3200 with a catch of 14, 14, 14 by 34, 1.35 volts, 32 gigabytes. I will be purchasing probably just 16 gigabytes because I am going to be testing different megahertz of RAM to see if it does make a difference in gaming, which I also do have a 3600 megahertz memory kit I have in mind, but I just wanted to save a little bit of money, and so I just went with obviously this memory kit. Moving along, the SSD I got was the Samsung 990 Pro. You know, no brainer either. Best money can buy right now. So the power supply I went with is CORSAIR HX 1500i. 1500 watts. It's all modular, has a 120 mm fan. But what I also like about this PSU is it has built-in software, goes Type C to USB. I can download IQ, and then I can get power draws from the power supply and all of my components that have sensors. You got to understand that it has to have a sensor for you to get them numbers and statistics from the voltage, watts, megahertz speeds, etc., etc. So that's another one I like, and obviously it's platinum certified. It does have the one cable that supports the 600 watt connector for the newer 4000 series GPUs, but I heard some stuff about that. So if I do decide to test bench like a newer 4000 series um GPU, Corsair sells the adapter for 600 watts, and I'm gonna get that. So this is a bad ask me no more questions power supply. And please don't be like in the comments, hey, FPS benchmarks, you went kind of overload on your PSU, man. You went like 1500 watts. Like, why would you do that? Because like this is where people slack when it comes to PSU. Like before, like I was gonna buy like a 6800 XT, and I went through the specifications. Like even that GPU requires a 850 watt power supply. So why would you just get a 850 watt power supply? Especially look at the prices. Like, oh, it went back up. It was on sale like a little bit ago. It was like only like 239, but you could at least go with 1,000 watts. Please, like, that's the only thing that sucks is like I'm trying to help out like budget building, but at the same time, you not to repeat myself, you get like a 6800 XT, because it smokes some like 3000 series Nvidia. Like I don't want to get into you know com comparison right now, but like yeah, Nvidia does draw less power, but it doesn't matter, man. Like we ain't worried about an electric bill. That's like if I'm not gonna lie, you gotta spend at least like a little bit over 1,000 to have a decent rig, to play these AAA games. Unless like, you're old school and you just want to play other games, but you ain't gonna be building nothing major. Like, but so not to talk you off with the PSU, please don't slack on the PSU. At least get like 1,000 watts minimum. Try to find the best. Go do your research and everything and try to find the best money can buy for that price on your budget. So moving along to the last piece of the puzzle of my test bench. Do you know what GPU I went with? Did I give it up in my bookmark tabs? I don't know if I did, but you already know what I went with. I went with the HELLHOUND POWERCOLOR RX 7900 XT. I seen a revisit review by Gamer Nexus, and man, I was blown out my mind. Like I always say in my videos, no brainer. Like no brainer. 20 gigabytes VRAM. I don't care about the LEDs. It has a dual BIOS for silent mode and OCN. Ray tracing, Radeon boost, Radeon anti-lag. Overall, it's a beast of a GPU. High quality 14 layer PCB design. Like I don't really care about the fans. But it does gotta stay cool. I'll be running, temperatures on my first benchmarks, and you're gonna be the first ones to know. That's nothing spectacular. It has good base speeds and boost speeds. It's just bad to ask me no more questions. The Steam processor, 5,376 units. Like engine boost, engine clock OC is up to 2,130 megahertz. Up to 2,500 megahertz. Like, and then the silent mode just bases up to 2025 megahertz and up to 2395 megahertz memory speed. Memory interface 320 bit. Overall, it's good. You could do anything. 1080p, 1440, and 4K. And like I'm not gonna lie. Um, I'm just gonna be doing 1080p benchmarks just for the time being until I get a 1440p monitor and a 4K monitor. But like, just I ain't gonna lie, 1080p for now. So see, like this, like not to go back. Minimum system power requirement 750 in the 6800 XT is saying 850. 750 it's required. Like why would I just get 850? Like I know other components don't draw that much. It's just you got to be on the safe side. No matter what, you ain't gotta go all out like I did with mine. But I just gotta buy like best ish money can buy. You know, on my budget. Like like the SSD was cheap, the RAM was cheap. Even the CPU was cheap. The motherboard was even cheaper. But like that is kind of an expensive open bench table. It is like $200, but overall, well spent money to test bench. So I'm gonna play you the little video now with the footage I did have left on my camera. So enjoy the quick little video. So I'm back. That was my full assembly of my test bench, and I forgot to mention I was such in a rush to make the video because I've been waiting forever. Like not to talk your ear off. Like I was so mad about the footage because I was gonna do unboxed reviews and everything, but like like I said I forgot to include my AIO. It's just Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 360. Like you can't beat the price on that. You know what I'm saying? I got it for $100. It's like overall, it's a decent cooler, especially for $100 I spent. It's compatible with Intel and AMD AM5 and AM4, and like pretty fast pump control speeds, 800 to 2800 RPM. You know, it's bad like 360. It's like the radiator fan speed is 200 to 1800 RPM. So there you go. That's the my showcase in the test bench. Obviously, full assembly and everything you saw. So let's get the test bench in. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll try to respond back in a manageable time. Um, Also hit that noti button so you know when the next video is from FPS Benchmarks. Till then, happy gaming.